Okay, let's move on again. Sort of sticking to the subject of Mark and Lee's, or Kelso, as is popularly known, and Lee's arguments. We'll move on to probably the most publicised, maybe the most important argument they had slightly later, just after the release of Action, which had been debuted a few months earlier at Glastonbury, to Top of the Pops, which was, of course, a fateful evening whereby the band ended up splitting because of that incident.
Top of the Pops was a giant mistake. Top of the Pops was the band's first chance to use nationwide television to spread our message, and you always don't want to place blame, but the blame lies solely on Lee.
Lee got a harebrained notion. His idea he wanted to fly around the stage on wires. Well, I thought it detracted from the sound. I thought the tone would suffer, and so I disagreed with him.
And so you didn't eventually play Top of the Pops because of this?
Hi, Kelso.
Hello?
Yeah, are you alright, yeah?
I'm okay, you and your own. As good as you can be after Dandy Ponce's round your week.
Yeah, alright, come on. We need to get back together.
What's the problem? It's not just like any old game, is it?
I know, listen, but we're not going to get over it by never seeing each other. That would be the end of Absolon.
Well, yeah, I don't see the problem with that at the moment, quite frankly.
Because we need to move forward. We need to get back together and talk. Some negotiations.
I don't think there's anything to negotiate.
Well, you've got problems and so's Lee, but we can sort these problems out and move forward as a unit.
Well, what do you want to do about it?
Well, I want to meet up. There was no need to be flying unless you had an important point to make, and to be honest, sometimes I don't think Lee has the important point to make that he's flying for, and he just flies to the sky, hoping that he'll find his purpose when he gets there, when clearly you need to find your purpose on the ground and then fly up holding it in front of you.
I know it's been hard for both of you, but we need to sort this out. Now the whole band's together again for the first time since Top of the Pops. It's time to...
I wish Dyke is that idiot.
Please, can we avoid hand gestures and loud voices?
Yeah, basically what happened was I wanted to add an element of stagecraft, so I was going to give my guitar part to a session musician, and then I wanted wires attached to me so that I could sort of float off into the crowd during the build-up bit, the same part of Action where we were going to have the fireworks at the Glastonbury show. And but Kelso didn't like this because it detracted from the tone. Basically, it didn't detract from the tone at all. It had nothing to do with the sound. Kelso was more concerned about the camera would be on me flying through the air as opposed to on him making the chuk noise. And I think this was a bit too much for his ego to take. And so eventually he threw a strop, and the whole thing ended in quite an ugly way.
1, 2, 3, Absolon!
Absolon.
Yes. Yes, I think we've really achieved something today.
Well, we would have played Top of the Pops still, probably, even if we'd had that disagreement, but obviously what with the police and us being locked away overnight, we were unable to be released in time for the filming.
But it's not just a physical thing, is it? It's not just a touching of hands. I don't mind touching him. I've hit him enough. I don't mind touching him.
It hit me, not that I've noticed. Come on.
Was he always ready to do it?
One little handshake. No, you started it. Well, no, you both did. I'm not going to take sides. One little handshake. Represent solidarity of the workers.
Oh, he's taking my tone! He's taking my tone!
Don't be silly.
We were taken away by the police. Both me and Kelso were charged. Although we didn't actually press charges against each other, the other people who happened to be hurt in the fight did, however, press charges. But they got hurt by sort of chairs and things being flung. Well, what can you say, really? It's...
Very good. At last, it's taken me 4 weeks since Top of the Pops fiasco to get the band back together, and finally the handshake. Now, I know they've been fighting, but to them the handshake is everything, and they wouldn't have shaken hands shook hands, unless they really felt that they'd achieved something in the negotiations that we've been having with ourselves and our drummer Laurie. And hopefully that one handshake can represent a new future for me, Laurie, and both